Our quest to try every steakhouse in America has brought us to Tampa, Florida, to what has been by far the most requested in the country. It's an absolute icon, having been here since 1956, and it's still impossible to get a reservation. It has one of the largest wine collections in the world. All of its steaks are dry aged a minimum of 45 days, and it has a dessert room that some say has better food than its steaks. We're Kristin and Will, and today we're trying Bern's. This video is going to look a little different than usual. If you've watched any of our other videos, you probably already know we take production quality very seriously. We shoot all of our videos on a mirrorless camera with a fast lens and lavalier microphones because most of the restaurants we go to are dark and loud, and we want to get the best footage of them possible without disturbing the guests around us. Unfortunately, Bern's does not allow cameras. We spoke to as many people as we can get a hold of, but the best that they could do is allow us in a little bit before opening to get some shots of the restaurant and maybe the kitchen. But once the restaurant opens, no microphones, no cameras. As frustrating as that is for us, obviously they have every right to have this policy and we're not going to push it. So this video will look a little different than usual, but bear with us. Let's go give it a try. Bern Steakhouse was founded in 1956 by Bern and Gert Laxer. They purchased a bar in a strip mall called Beer Haven, which was where the present-day Bordeaux room is. The legend goes they were going to call the restaurant Bern and Gert's, but didn't have the money to buy a new sign, so they settled on Bern's since they could reuse the letters from the Beer Haven bar sign. Over the years, they purchased the other businesses in the strip mall one by one and gradually expanded from 40 to 350 seats. It's been named one of the best restaurants and best steakhouses in the country by numerous publications. Although surprisingly, Michelin has not given it a star since it started visiting Tampa in 2022.
Ambiance is always going to be subjective, but Bern's truly is unlike anything else. There are 8 dining rooms and a bar, all very distinctly themed. Since they were completely different businesses before being acquired by Bern's, the ambiance and decor can be pretty unique from room to room. We were seated in the Andrei Chelichev room, named after the esteemed winemaker and friend of Bern, which is the smallest room with just 5 tables in total. Bern was an art collector and filled each room with various pieces from his collection, and we felt like some of the rooms were done more tastefully than others. Other than the bar area, which was recently and beautifully renovated, overall Bern's has a sort of dated neighborhood Italian restaurant feel with the red carpet and fake brick. There are also absolutely no windows.
This chamber has no windows and no doors.
It might not be our style necessarily, but we're here for the food, so let's eat.
To start, we were given a tuna tartare amuse-bouche, which had a creamy guac-like spread on a sesame tostada. It was very light and the flavors were not too strong, but it was a nice way to start the meal. An absolute must-get at Bern's is wine. They have one of the largest wine selections in the country with over 750,000 bottles. There is truly something for everyone too, from glasses for as little as $10 all the way up to bottles that cost tens of thousands. Bern was a wine enthusiast himself and collected wine like he collected art. The restaurant has so much, in fact, that they needed to buy a warehouse across the street to store it all.
Next up was the French onion soup. Every steak comes with French onion soup to start, house salad, baked potato, onion rings, and the vegetable of the night. For such an iconic place, the prices at Bern's are fairly reasonable as it is, but having all of these included is an amazing bonus. And if you're sharing a steak like we were, you can upgrade for $25 and get your own soup, salad, and sides. The soup was nothing special, but it was good. It came with wheat and garlic toast, but skip the wheat and stick to the garlic.
We also ordered the dry-aged special chateaubriand carpaccio because we've been on a carpaccio kick lately, and this one sounded amazing. It comes with pickled mushrooms, arugula, and cherry balsamic with sourdough bread and Parmesan butter. The carpaccio is much thicker than any other we've had, and despite the dry aging, one of the least flavorful. The balsamic was overpowering and the mushrooms didn't add anything, especially compared to the amazing one we had a few weeks ago at a relatively unknown steakhouse in Orlando. This was a disappointment. The Parmesan butter, though, was unbelievable. Try to get the butter and the sourdough bread and skip the carpaccio.
Next was our salad. There are 10 dressings to choose from, all made from scratch in-house, and we went with the garlic balsamic, which our waiter said was the best and most popular. The salad itself was fine, the lettuce was clearly on the older side, but this dressing was awesome. It was quite thick with a strong garlic flavor, and the vinegar wasn't overpowering. Really, really good, and great that it's included. It was a similar story with the included sides. The steak comes with their signature onion rings, a daily vegetable, which were string beans, and a baked potato with butter, sour cream, bacon, and chives. These were sides you can get pretty much anywhere, nothing notable, but again included, so can't complain.
It was finally time for the steak. We went with the Taste of Bern's, which is 4 ounces each of dry-aged tenderloin, 100-day aged Delmonico, and dry-aged strip loin. All of the steaks at Bern's are USDA prime, and other than the standard tenderloins, are dry-aged at least 45 days. First up was the strip, and this one, in all honesty, was just fine. Almost no dry-aged flavor and a bit tough, actually. After trying this one, we were both questioning whether getting the 4-ounce versions of these was a mistake, but we were quickly corrected. This was the dry-aged tenderloin, which unlike the other two, you can order on its own. Aging the tenderloin for this long forces them to cut it down a lot, so 4 ounces is basically as big as it gets. When I tell you this is the best filet I have ever had in my life, I am not exaggerating. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the best filet on earth. The dry-aged flavor was immense, shockingly even stronger than the 100-day Delmonico. The Delmonico was excellent as well, not nearly as tender or flavorful surprisingly, but still one of the best we've had. I struggle whether to recommend the full 14-ounce 100-day Delmonico or the Taste of Bern's more, because the taste leaves you wanting so much more, but the tenderloin is reason enough to get it.
Dessert at Bern's might be even more iconic than their steaks. When you start dinner, your waiter will ask if you want a reservation for the dessert room, and when you're finished, you head upstairs to what is functionally a separate restaurant, the Harry Waugh Dessert Room. The story goes that Bern got the idea when he was dining at his friend Harry's, who after finishing dinner invited him to his drawing room for dessert and after dinner cordials. The dessert room features private booths made from old wine casks and a long list of enticing desserts, all made in-house. Even if you make a reservation before coming up, you're not taken directly to a table, but actually have to check in with the hostess and wait for a table to open up, which for us took almost half an hour. We spent 2 hours dining downstairs, and including the time we had to wait for a table, 2 hours upstairs. After having such great service downstairs, we were surprised by how disorganized everything was up here.
We ordered the cafe con leche, which is espresso, vanilla cream, and hot milk, and was creamier than your standard vanilla cappuccino, but not too sweet. We also tried the banana cheese pie, which is supposed to be the dessert they are most known for, as well as the baked Alaska to compare it to some of the others we've had. For some reason, while our waiter was toasting the baked Alaska, he asked if we had ever had one before. And when we said we had, he said, "Yeah, right, I highly doubt that." Service aside, this was far from the best baked Alaska we've had. Compared to the version we had at Strip House, which you can see is even more up in flames despite having no liqueur in the plate, this one was swimming in it. It had their homemade macadamia nut ice cream, vanilla cake, toasted meringue, and blended liqueurs. It's possible they just added too much to ours, but it completely overpowered everything else, which is a shame because when you could just get a bite of the macadamia nut ice cream, it was excellent. The banana cheese pie was much better. It's almost like a combination of banana pudding and cheesecake. We've heard the carrot cake is amazing as well, so maybe try that or just the macadamia nut ice cream on its own and skip the baked Alaska.
Overall, Bern's was quite a roller coaster of an experience with very high highs and somewhat low lows. The filet and Delmonico were unbelievable and made this more than worth the stop. The rest of the food was nothing notable, but you're coming for the steaks and a lot of it was included. The dessert room is probably what disappointed us the most. The concept is exciting and different, but the execution was not great and the service and food just didn't hold up.
Finally tried Bern's Steakhouse, and the steaks absolutely lived up to the hype. The 100-day dry-aged Delmonico and the dry-aged tenderloin were amazing. If you like dry-aged flavor, they are absolutely must-gets. The service downstairs was perfect. I love that they take everyone to the wine cellar and the kitchen. It's just such a unique experience. The rest of the food wasn't our favorite, not the best we've ever had for a steakhouse, but not bad. I was a little bit disappointed in the desserts, to be honest. but the dessert room is also a really cool experience. Honestly, Bern's in general, it's just unlike anything else. So if you are in the Tampa area, it is definitely worth a stop. But let us know what you guys have thought of it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.